So I figured I would spend a moment and talk to you about what I've contemplated today in as it relates to a common block that not only I had, but that I think people have in general, and that is rejecting reality and what that is. So when you think about that, when you are rejecting reality, you're essentially telling life as it's occurring for you that there's something wrong with it, that it should be different than it is, and it's not good enough. It's too much. It's too little. You're basically judging reality in relation to a concept or a mental construct in your mind of what you think it should be, and not questioning what you think it should be. We could see this in a day-to-day way of being. And like, for example, let's just imagine I'm going to the grocery store and I'm driving my car and someone's not paying attention and they hit the back of my car. We can say, of course, that's not beneficial. That's not something we want. But the problem is when you feel angry, resentful, bitter, put out, all of those emotions as a response come from rejecting that reality. Something I recall learning in my recovery and my out-of-body experience and was this awareness that everything is as it is, and when you deny, reject, judge, or detach from reality, is essentially you have these emotions that occur and thoughts that occur from those emotions that ultimately run you. And the one thing that I used in my own understanding of this was sexual assault and rape, and being shamed, judged, abandoned, rejected, and all of those things. So for me, it was quite radical in how I came to this awareness. It wasn't something as easy as just getting rear-ended and even having physical trauma from a rear end. That to me is like, well, in the size, the how we define something that is negative in our lives, that to me is like, it would have been easier for me to recover from that or to accept that than what I had to go through to recover, which was accepting sexual trauma and also religious rejection and trauma within my own family. So if you look at where these issues arise, it's like you're resisting reality to some degree, and where that resistance comes from is, again, a concept of what you think life should be, but underneath that ultimately is a sense of what you can handle. So there is a inner sense of capacity that would then be where we formulate what we believe life should be, because we're really kind of biased in thinking about it when we mentally construct life, what would be easy for us or beneficial for us, right? From our mental construction, or a construction that was given to you dogmatically that you're not to question, such as some political view or religious ideology. So in the case of getting rear-ended, the moment it happens, it has happened. So by rejecting it, denying it, disproving of it, you are creating your own misery. The moment that occurs and you realize, well, this is it. Here is life unfolding. Here is reality manifesting. If I accept this as it is, it's over. It's accomplished. Now at this point, we just have to go through the process of getting insurance. I don't have insurance. Can I afford this? Is it worth, paying for? Can I handle a car with a dent in it? And once you go into accepting as it goes, imagine if you can just go into radical acceptance as it is, as it occurs, the release you get from having to deny it, be angry about it, have any emotion around it, victimizing yourself by it. So many people don't realize that their sense of lack in life is their own creation. They think that life has given them lack, not realizing that if you in your own mind, in your own awareness, don't need much and can adapt to anything, where's the lack coming from? Well, you can see from that point of view, it's coming from your own rejection of reality as it is. Another example, so let me just tell you about like my month. My son Wyatt has just recently, did driver's ed this year. In Idaho, you can drive earlier. It's because it's mostly rural state, and a lot of farmers have kids that need to drive tractor or truck or that actually work on the farm, and it allows that those kids to actually drive without breaking the law. And so, and here where I live inside Boise, even though it's not rural, they still have the same freedom. So he's 15 and a half, and he's got a driver's license. So he has been in 3 car wrecks. He drove my car and hit my daughter's car. So the front of my car has a dent and a ding. And I just bought this car like 2 years ago. And my daughter's car was in mint condition, 1991 Buick LeSabre. She is like driving a grandma car. It's so cute. Mint condition. Now the front's got a big hole in it. He actually hit someone else's car, of which he did damage the electrical because it was a newer car, and the whole the electrical system for the lighting. So we needed to get insurance involved to pay for that. And then he just backed into someone's 2017 Range Rover. So it is what it is as it's occurring. And for me to be angry would be like me rejecting my son's driving, even though I could say you need to pay attention. I'm pretty sure he's figuring this out naturally. And he's actually a great driver. He's a much better driver than my 17-year-old Chloe, who hasn't been in any accidents, but tailgates, speeds, doesn't pay attention. There's those things. There's, every time I try to write, I've got something that comes up and I can't get it done. So I haven't I've written the last couple of days, which has been awesome, but, there's more. I just am totally spacing it right in this moment, but something that, it's like when my husband has changed jobs, and that job potentially requires that I move kids. How do you manage that, right? To, especially when it causes somewhat internal drama or chaos around just survival mechanisms around the nesting instinct that I can't, necessarily turn that off. It's part of the wiring there. So here's something, just recently is yesterday I found out that one of my sisters has terminal cancer. And this sister in particular is kind of in the middle of the family. So loving, devoted, religious, kind, faithful sister. She's a lot like my mother. She 7 children, I think 4 of which are out of the home. 3 are still in the home. And she has moved with her husband. She's right in the middle of a move. Anyways, and it's a very rapid form of kind of cervical uterus. It's kind of all over in her insides. And so the prognosis is not good. And so we learned this yesterday, and it's, again, here's reality. When you judge it and shame it, you're basically telling divinity, if you believe in such a thing, that it's wrong. It's wrong, but we don't necessarily know the big picture. What is the big picture? We don't have that. And so when you're rejecting all of these things, you're rejecting the car getting hit, the loss of income, the fact that your parents are assholes, or your ex-husband is trying to ruin your life. When you just reject it all, you suffer, because there in the big picture is a purpose, a meaning, and you don't necessarily know it until after you get it. Like for me, going through such intense suffering brought me to this place. My mother dying of brain cancer played an important role in her evolution. My sister, having just been diagnosed with a very aggressive terminal cancer, opens you up to divinity and its massive potential. I need to get my shit together here. Hold on. The massive potential of what life is about and what it can bring, and how it can evolve love and your capacity to love, really. I was not intending to cry here. Sorry. Okay, so that being said, what in your life are you rejecting? What in your life are you denying? Feeling sorry for yourself for holding on to from your past that is, again, keeping you in a continuous state of rejection with reality, constant seeing, where you are positioned to see the negative in life and how terrible it is. I mean, look at our current political, state in the United States. How much of what is occurring could you say is wrong, bad, reject, when it could serve a purpose, when there is a bigger picture at play here, that if you can go into it from an awareness that you were not aware what the big picture is. And 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, if we still exist on this planet, we may find that out. There is something profoundly occurring, and the willfulness to surrender your concepts of what's right and wrong, open yourself up to a reality that is divine and divinely guided, whether it's a negative for you or a benefit for someone else. There is some divinity involved in it all. Can you accept it and be willing to allow it to just be and stay present in reality? There is my message for today. I'm actually traveling this weekend to Denver. My husband has some stuff going on there, so I'll be in Denver Saturday, and we fly home Sunday. So, and then, so if you're in Denver and you want to say hi, I don't know if I'll have any time, but send me a message. And I also wanted to thank you guys so much for your feedback around posting the sessions that I posted 2 years ago when I first started Patreon. You guys have been so helpful, so open-minded about this process that I'm still trying to figure out. I don't have a plan. I don't have a teacher. I don't have any, I don't have a program. I'm just creating this as it's occurring, and you guys have been so patient with this book writing process, which is taking for flippin' ever. But again, there's reality for you. So thank you so much for being so supportive, so open-minded, and so patient with this process. All right, you guys, I love you. Have a great, great day.